Today we're heading to Castle Island, and this place is pretty special because this is where Joseph grew up. His family took care of the lighthouse out here, and we tried to see it last year and we couldn't get to it, it was too rough. I was super excited to get out there and check out Castle Island and the old lighthouse where he grew up. Years did you live out here? 30 years?
30 years or more, you know what I mean?
It's crazy. Joseph takes us up there and he's showing us around where he grew up, and we get to see, you know, it's all kind of grown in and overgrown, but he's showing us all these different places. This is where we stored food, and this is where we got our rainwater, and you know, this is where we cooked, and this is the lighthouse. In that lighthouse, they had to, every 6 hours, somebody would have to go to the top of the lighthouse and crank up the batteries, get that thing going. I can imagine what it would be like back in those days. And he said as a kid, it was just wonderful growing up out there.
Let's walk around.
Walk around that way, okay.
Then we just walk back.
This big flat at the end of where we're fishing is just this giant key, and it's an extension of the island, and it's just massive. And it's so big that you really don't feel like you can cover it all effectively. So we're staying right up along this a dry piece of ground that goes out into the water, and those fish are super shallow. You know, they're coming in and trying to stay in that ankle deep type of water. Finally, we roll up to a spot and there's some sharks working, and there's a shadow laying off in the side. We think it's a barracuda. Louis points it out. One cast with the big Fish Lab popper, the scrum popper. I pop it once and this thing comes 40 feet, 100 miles an hour, and just blows this thing. Like, huge barracuda. So awesome. These fish are so powerful. They jump, they run, they're so fun. They eat top water. I was screaming like a little baby. Yes! And that thing came, it hit it so hard and so fast, it scared me. Wow. Catch a big barracuda. Jarvis dives in there right behind me and sticks a big needlefish, like a big needlefish on top. He's jumping, having a good time. You know what? It's fun. You're catching fish. Oh, yes!
Yeah.
They're jumpers. That's pretty cool. Getting ready, coming up here, getting ready to, there you go. Getting ready to go bone fishing. There was a bunch of barracuda on the outside here chasing the poor bonefish around, so I figured I'd beat up on them a little bit. Fish, huh? Big old Cuda. Love these things. Bashing top water, jumping, screaming line. Yeah, let me keep that one and eat it. Once we get over to this side of the island, there's triggers everywhere. And you know what? We gotta catch some triggers. Jarvis gets after it, gets one right in position, gets hooked up right away. at it, they come at it, they come at it, and most of the time they don't get hooked up. You know, their teeth are so crazy, their mouths are so hard. They actually break coral with their mouths, so they can break your hook in half. They can do all kinds of. They can grab it and not get hooked. And that one actually ate it about 5 feet from my feet right there. That's cool. They fight really good. Those triggers, they don't stream a lot of line like bonefish, but what they do is they dog you and they just don't come in. Super fun, and they're beautiful fish. They're pretty cool. So I want to take a hike into a place that it's fairly remote. It takes a while, it takes a good amount of work to get in there, and then once you're there, the waiting is very difficult. But you know what? If it pays off, it'll be worth the effort. About an hour hike into this spot. It's fairly easy, but you can see it's pretty wooded, but it's a ways in. We're gonna go check out this creek, this feeder creek system. It supposedly has a lot of fish. You know, it did in years prior. So we've been using the boat and doing all that stuff for the whole trip, but today we're gonna walk in. There's triggerfish, there's barracuda, and there's supposed to be some big bonefish. So, you know, we're hoping the hard work pays off.
Should be good. You put that extra work in and hopefully you get paid off with a nice big bonefish.
Yeah. Stay tuned. Shallow there, and it drops off deep over here, and we can see them coming out of that blue stuff, getting ready to head out. So I think some of them hang. They didn't live there too. I don't know. Jarvis and I are working along, and immediately we see a little pile of bonefish, and they're laid up, just sitting still. Hooks a fish, and then I cast over top of it, and I hook a fish. Good way to start the day, double on bones. Looking into the spot, we finally got to where we wanted to be. Started looking, both just said the visibility got right, and sure enough, I looked down, I'm like, those are fish right there. Jarvis said, yep, those are fish. You know? And they were just laid up, which is something you don't see a lot here. A lot of times they're moving fast in big groups. They were all just barely moving, just kind of held up right there, kind of laid up in the mud. And Jarvis we started casting. He got on Jarvis's first. He hooks up, and they didn't quite spook yet. He had them kind of tamed, but then I cast it over top of his line. Another one spun around, and then ate mine. Making for a real nice double hookup. I haven't got my net out yet. gonna run you through our setup here. Bone fishing in the Bahamas is really crucial. These fish are very spooky, and we're fishing very skinny, clear water. We got an 8-weight rod and a Monarch 8-weight bonefish taper phantom tip line. The phantom tip has 15 feet of clear on the front of that line. I'm running about a 6 to 8 foot piece of fluorocarbon, and then our fly. So a couple of things about the phantom tip being clear: you can get away with a shorter leader, which you can get more accurate casts, and the fish don't spook off. They'll spook a little bit and they'll turn right around and grab that fly. So if you're coming down, if you're gonna go fish for bonefish, make sure you get the Monarch bonefish taper phantom tip. Bonefish are incredibly strong. Look at that. Just interesting, the fish back here have a lot less dark lines on them. They're a little more mud color.
We're out here in the Bahamas and we're chasing bonefish, barracuda, pretty much lots of different species out here. So I wanted to run over the setup we're running. And this is actually our saltwater master line. So this is our line with a slickening agent built right into it. And that slickening agent helps repel salt and gunk building up on the line, so it casts great throughout the day. Saltwater master has a nice long head design as well, which allows you to pick up more line off the water, one false cast, and shoot it right back out. We also built this with our Sensacore core material. So unlike the older clears, which had a good amount of stretch to it, these are a little bit more stiff, which gives you more sensitivity, higher line speed for punching through the wind, and overall better hook sets.
Jarvis is a great young guy, and we've had a lot of fun together fishing, and this is his first trip saltwater fishing. So to see him at the first of the trip get his first bonefish and start learning what he's looking for and sticking them, and actually honestly seeing him better than I am at the end of the trip. Sitting there holding a bonefish with my buddy Jarvis at the last day, we got a double. Just so awesome. It's just such a great feeling to see him come so far as an angler just in the short week that we've been here. You come back to the lodge at night, you can be sure that Alicia is going to be taking care of you. Come back, your rooms are clean, everything's in order, glasses and the table's set, and immediately, have a beer, get a cocktail. She starts bringing out appetizers. And shortly after that, always a great dinner and dessert. I mean, this place is unbelievable. If you're looking for an adventure trip of a lifetime, this is the trip for you. Come down here and let these guys take care of you. You get to chase a bunch of different species of fish. Their program is more like a DIY with some help type of deal. Joseph will make sure that he's seeing bonefish all the time and with you, but you can take off and try to find them yourself, which is what I like to do. Frankie's running the boat. They've got a great boat to get you to wherever you need on the flats and on the islands. And it's just a really good combination trip.